Hello, welcome to the channel. I guess we'll call it the Little Red House channel. So we're starting a new adventure. We're going to create what I hope will be a very unique garden. So if you're interested in gardens, in particular raised bed gardens, then this might be interesting. We don't really know what we're doing. We didn't create this channel because we're going to have millions of viewers and become billionaires on YouTube. We're basically doing this for us, for ourselves, for posterity. Something my son can look at years from now, maybe show his kids. That's my son holding the camera there. Um, and so I want to tell you about what we try to create here, because it ought to be fun, because we're clueless. We have no idea what we're doing, so it's probably going to be funny. But let me maybe set it up a little bit. So many years ago, my wife and I bought this beautiful property. It's a beautiful forest, right? What happened was we were looking to build a house. I was a Wall Street type guy, and we had a beautiful architect's plan for a super duper house, and we were looking for some land, and we ran into this place, and on it there was this lovely little red house. It's not so little anymore, but it was then. And interestingly enough, the house came with a dog. His name was Jesse, and well, he's the reason why we ended up here. And we had many adventures together. So way back then, my wife and I, knowing nothing, decided to create a vegetable garden, and we did. We cleared this little piece of land here. The house is right over there, and the house is much smaller than it is now. There's no pool back then, nothing. This barn that's behind us here didn't even exist. So we just cleared this little piece of land. None of that was cleared. And we planted some vegetables, and it was great. I mean, they grew, and it was fantastic. We had everything, and it was beautiful, and they grew to the peak of perfection, and then the animals ate it all. So we learned, and we kept discovering, and eventually we figured out how to protect the garden and keep critters out of it, and we grew beautiful, beautiful fruits and vegetables. And my wife used to drive around the neighborhood with a little trailer behind a small tractor that we had back then, and she would give away vegetables, and it was fun. But life changes, so we went and did other things. We had a child, we raced cars, and we forgot the little garden. And so it was full of rubbish and trees and weeds, and had not been tended for years. Now, recently, and this is a dual project, we're building this vegetable garden and an amazing garage over there, which I'll talk about in a minute. But recently, we decided to start a car collection. And it was great idea. Of course, having more money than brains, I started buying cars before I thought about where to put them. So suddenly I realized I have these cars coming and I don't have a place to put them, and we decided, boy, we better build a garage. So we cleared this land over here to, Jason, come this way and show them, to put a garage. So up there's going to be a nice big garage that will connect to our driveway, and this hill here is going to get, nice and, a nice slope down to the vegetable garden. We'll put some fruit trees and stuff on it. And then here, we're going to build this amazing garden. But we want to try something different this time. So we don't want to do a lot of work. So we don't want to be doing any weeding or, fertilizing. Basically, we just want to plant the things and eat them, And so what we're going to try and do here is to build a garden first, something beautiful, something really beautiful with flowers and fruit trees and vegetables, but as automated as possible. So we're going to set up some solar systems that will run off of the garage. We're going to have some rain collection systems. We're going to have automated systems for fertilizing, automated systems for watering, all computerized, several computers. And the garden is going to be built, hopefully like Fort Knox. Nothing but bees is going to be able to get in here. So we're starting by clearing this land here, and what will happen next is it'll get leveled off, all the topsoil will get removed, and gravel will get put in here, about 6 inches of gravel, and then 6 inches of steel and fiberglass reinforced concrete will get put on top of it. Within that concrete, there will be 4 planters that will not actually be raised planters. They'll be fake raised planters, 2 down here and 2 at the other end. And if you shoot over there, Jason, the planters are actually sitting there, and there's 2 more down there. So they're going to get partially buried in the ground, right? And it's in those planters we're actually going to put fruit trees. We have these dwarf fruit trees. They're about 8 feet tall. but they're very special because they only grow about 2 feet wide, so they don't cast a big shadow, so they'll work in the garden. And then everything else will be high raised planters, 32 inches high or higher if we can get them, and all fully automated. So the idea is to build a garden that we're going to put a lot of effort into now. There'll be a cage completely around. That cage is basically a greenhouse setup, but instead of the plastic, the dual wall plastic, which we will have, and we'll have the ability to run it as a greenhouse when we want to, it'll have exhaust fans and a big 8-foot by 8-foot door and so on. But most of the time, probably all of the time, it's going to run more as a screened-in house, because there'll be a skin of a mesh type material that's steel inside, but rubberized plastic on the outside, so it doesn't rust, and every inch of it will be covered in that material so that no critters can get in there. As a matter of fact, on the first few feet, there'll be a double layer of material with another similar material like that, but except that the spacing, rather than being a 1-inch spacing, it's going to be something like a 1/4-inch spacing. And then the walls will come up and then just dive like this, so that any small critter that tries to get in can't get in that small space, and then even if they try to crawl up, they'll basically end up falling off. So, we'll do everything we can to keep critters out of here. And the idea then is to have this beautiful 17-foot tall, 30-foot wide, 48-foot long greenhouse, basically, except it's a screen house, with concrete all underneath it and around, and then beautiful planters, and then hanging from the trussers, strawberries and flower baskets, maybe a couple of statues, a place to sit down, somewhere where you can come in here and play with your tablet or whatever. We want this to be a beautiful area, an area to really enjoy, and where you can come and pick some fresh veggies for dinner. So to that end, since you happened here, I don't know why, but if you're here and you're interested, you can subscribe and push the thing and all that stuff that they always say on these videos that I hate doing. But if you're interested, stick with us. And if you have ideas, please post them, because we could use all the ideas, because we're sort of inventing as we go along. I'm sure other people have done this, maybe not quite the way we're going to do it, because I've gone all over YouTube, and so far I have not found a channel that's doing, or that has done exactly what we're doing, which is something on this scale, this automated, and this protected, and also really creating a garden that's beautiful. So we're putting 24 planters in here. We're leaving tons of empty room, 4 feet at least in between every planter, because we're not looking to produce the most possible vegetables or any of that. We just want for it to be beautiful. There's only 3 of us. We don't need that many vegetables. Even just the 24 planters, there'll be a lot more than we can use. And so while we're at it with this, we'll also build the garage over there, and that's a whole other project. And if you're interested, you can follow that one along too. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you again. Take care. Cheers.